Good morning, guys. So what I'm actually doing is at the moment, I'm recording a live webinar on the resilience and refocusing in the process of reopening your gym. So what I'm doing is I'm going to record the first 15 to 20 minutes of the presentation live on Instagram, which you can join me. If you like the information, what I'll do is I will put it up onto YouTube and on my website later on in the coming weeks. So you can check it out there if you find the information interesting. So if you feel like I'm not looking at the camera, is that I'm actually live on the webinar at the moment. So this will be, if you want to join me live, you can get on to the bio and register for a webinar and join me, and you can see the slides. But other than that, we'll get cracking into the content. So all the guys that are joining me live on the webinar, thank you so much. And we'll get straight into the slideshow. So today's presentation is going to be on the resilience and refocusing your business and reopening it in this after all these lockdowns. So again, if you're joining on Instagram, you can see these slides, which will be up on YouTube in the coming weeks. So the first thing I want to get across is, are you prepared for the reopening of your business? A lot of times when people talk to me, personal trainers, strength coaches, fitness people, they're working in corporate gyms or they're working with teams, and they haven't necessarily built up their resilience or even reformulated their business model in the current situation. So what I'm going to try and go through is what you can do now in your business to make it more resilient and more flexible in the upcoming months. So first of all, whether you're a gym owner, whether you're a personal trainer, where is the majority of your money coming from? What are you doing to bring money in on a day-to-day basis? Is it one-to-one training? Is it semi-private training? Is it a membership-based business? So mostly business fall into four types of work. Number one is freelance personal trainers, one-to-one coaching, or even virtual coaching where you're seeing someone on Zoom like we are now at the moment. The second is if you're a gym owner, you're operating a private training center, whether that be small training, whether it be group classes, or it's a hybrid where you're doing one-to-one training and a hybrid of group training. Now, with the way things are going on, it's not that easy to get a group of people into a room. So you're going to have COVID restrictions put into place. Maybe the amount of volume of people you can get into the gym is going to be massively reduced. So looking at your business model, maybe you're like a gym chain that required a lot of people in a small room where it was heated and got very sweaty. You're going to need to change your business model to be able to be resilient, to be profitable with the amount of facilities that you have, with the staff you have. But most importantly, you have to start to listen to your clients. And as I talk to trainers and coaches around the world, whether it be New Zealand, which to be honest, when I talk to them, they've had very little lockdown in comparison to the UK and Ireland, which you have huge lockdown. What a lot of people have done is gone straight back into their business model they did in the past, and that's not going to work in my opinion. Reason being is we need to sit down and listen to number one people we need to listen to is our current clients. And if we listen to our current clients and what makes them happy and what sort of the environment they're comfortable in, then we can start to modify our business plan and business model to look after the clientele that we currently have, and then maybe reactivate clients that we had in the past. The third aspect of business when it comes to gym reopening is the corporate wellness world. So if you are a trainer that's looking after a lot of corporate people, or maybe you're going to corporates and you're going in and doing fitness training and nutrition training in there, well, then you need to put together a plan of maybe these people are working from home. Maybe they're going to be in the office 3 days a week, 1 week, 2 days the next week. How are you going to build a plan that you can still look after these people? You can still offer a service to them, both when they're in the actual office and then working from home. So maybe it's a situation where you have a hybrid. One, you maybe do some one-to-one training with them when they're in the office, or maybe they're coming to you for group training in the office or outside, maybe a boot camp outside, and then they have the access to maybe some virtual online coaching when they're at home. So listen to your current clients, listen and assessing the environment that we're all in. We can now come together with a bespoke plan for your clients to make sure your business can go forward. But the days of a lot of people jammed into a gym, sweating all over people, a fast turnover on spin bikes or on cardio equipment, those days for the foreseeable future may be compromised a little bit until things change, but we need to anticipate this. And the fourth component when it comes to the fitness and well-being world is where people do education, where they do presenting, or they're doing the authoring books, or they're influencing people, or they're doing workshops. Now the number of people you can have at a workshop is going to be compromised. People traveling to a workshop, that's one of the things I used to do a lot of. We travel to seminars, teach people in groups, and we train, and we go through the new evolution of nutrition and fitness and so on. But they're gone for the moment. So people traveling to New Zealand and Hong Kong, that's not something that we can do at the moment. So if you are in that field or you are in that spectrum of the industry, well, then maybe developing stuff online that people can attend seminars like this, maybe get some value from your information, and then maybe book you for online education, or maybe there's an ongoing educational workshop once a week or once a month or whatever it may be. But if you're in any of those 4 sections, one-to-one training as a freelance coach, a gym owner with semi-private training, or you're in the corporate wellness world, or you're an educator or presenter, we need to look at what's currently the restrictions that we have at the moment. But don't look at them as restrictions, look at them as challenges. And like with any business model, there's going to be challenges all the time. So being able to identify these challenges and anticipate them. Don't get me wrong, shit happens every single day to everybody, whether that's your nutrition plan, your training plan, and in business. But having a growth mindset, looking at what can go wrong, and again, Murphy's Law, what can go wrong does go wrong on the worst possible time. So understanding these challenges that we have, we can make our business more resilient. But one of my biggest things, and I had hands up and say this on heart, I've made a lot of mistakes in business, but one of the worst ways to make mistakes is to learn them second and third time. You should learn from them first off. So mistakes can be very expensive if learned not in trial and error. So listen to people, look out for a mentor, look at what other people are doing in other countries, look at what their business models are, and realize that when you're in your business model, you always feel it's the best thing since sliced bread. However, we know things have to change, so having that resilience will allow you to move forward. So again, for the guys on Instagram, this is a live webinar I'm doing at the moment with a dual video on Instagram, but you will get these slides. So tip number 1. Now this I got from Michael Hyatt, and he has this book. I have it, I think I have it here. Yeah, it's my full focus planner. And what it is one of the things I really like about it, he says to plan your perfect week or your ideal week. So let's take an example. Building your ideal week. The first thing I think we should do is put our minds in the process of our staff. So your coaches, your trainers, your nutritionists, your instructors, your physios, your osteopaths, whatever your staff is, put your mind in their situation and build a perfect week for them. In my opinion, and this is just in my opinion from talking to a lot of executives and very successful businessmen and women, staff come first. They used to say the customer is always right. If you look after your staff, you have a trajectory of progression in their industry. You educate them, you look after them, you make them part of a community, part of a team. They will stay and they will bleed for your company. And having your staff happy will mean that your company has the ability to be flexible, has the ability to modify certain areas. But if you look after your staff, you listen to them, you get feedback from them, they will tell you what your clients' problems are. They will tell you what the clients are liking or not liking. So listen to them, and what to do is build a week for them, whether it be 10 hours a day of training, maybe 8 hours a day of training, maybe it's a split routine. Listen to their challenges. Maybe they've been working from home, and maybe they've been having a tough time over the last lockdown, but listen to your staff. See how you as a manager, as an owner, as a company operator can build a better week so you keep your staff happy. If you have happy staff, you have people going to be gravitating to join your team. And then the service they provide is going to be top notch. We've all gone to restaurants where the staff are in bad form, or the waiter wasn't nice to you when you came in. They put a bad taste in your mouth before you've even had a meal. We've all gone to the bathroom and maybe the bathroom wasn't as clean as it could be. You come back out into the dining area and you go, I don't feel comfortable in this environment. But if you have staff that are driven and focused on excellence in your business, excellence in what they do, excellence in the service they provide, both inside the gym, on text messages, on phone calls, and emails, that's what's going to make your business not only successful, but consistently successful and grow moving forward. Then what you want to do is sit down and talk to the second most important people in your business, your clients. How are they finding the challenging times? What else can you do from a service provider, whether it be more online coaching, less online coaching, more diets, more nutrition? Maybe it's root band communication or communities. Maybe it's you want to come, you don't want to be in a class with 10 people anymore. You'd prefer if it was 5 people, and they may be willing to pay an extra 5 or 10 euros for more personalized or more smaller sessions. They may be more willing to come more times a week and maybe do shorter sessions, maybe half-hour sessions, 4 times a week. Maybe with their new work schedule that they're traveling to and from work at different hours, they may need to change the schedules. But sit down and listen to your staff, listen to your clients, listen to their feedback, listen to their input. And in my experience, and I've been coaching people for over 25 years, clients that come to train at the Irish Strength Institute and with me, they have a certain level of success themselves. They're running businesses, they're executives themselves, they have a certain amount of revenue that they've achieved in their career. Their information their feedback is invaluable. People pay lots of money to hear these experts come in and assess your business. But if you have your clients coming in who are already very successful in their own right because they earn enough exposable income that they can pay for personal training or pay for high-end gym membership or pay for group training, listen to them. Now, I'm not saying that everything is going to be valid. And that's one thing when it comes to customer service. You need to make sure if someone's complaint or input is valid or invalid. But from a point of view, more information is definitely better. It can maybe allow you to curtail your business to make sure it's more bespoke and more personalized and a better attention to detail with the clients that you have. So build the perfect week. 1, for your staff, 2, for your clients, and then 3, for you. So many people I ask them about their time management and it's all over the place. And it's hard for coaches, nutritionists and trainers to preach to other people saying, oh, you need to get to bed on time. You need to get up early in time. You need to prepare your food and have your breakfast, lunch and dinner and take your supplements and have your family time and have your work time and switch off when you go home. And these people are biggest hypocrites. And I put my hand up as one of those for many years. I'd be, as my mom says, burn the candle at both ends, which technically is impossible unless you had the candle slightly altered. But the point is, if you're up super early training clients and you're working super late, maybe you're online. I have a lot of clients from New Zealand where I'll have to get online at 8 or 9 or 10 o'clock at night. So it matches their time zones. But we need to build a week for success. If you burn yourself out, we've had lots of time off and we've been dying to get back into work. And during this lockdown period, it allows people the reflection of what they invest their time in. So you as a business owner, whether you're self-employed, whether you're involved on a team or you're running a gym, first we look after our staff, then we look after our clients, then we look after ourselves. I'm not saying put yourself third. And actually, to be honest with you, I wouldn't put them necessarily in order. They're all of equal importance. If you don't put your clients first, you don't put your staff first, you won't have a business for very long. But making sure that you're in the moment, you're focused, you allocate your time, you invest in your staff, you look after your clientele, and you look after yourself. So you're able to stay in the business. So many coaches and so many trainers out there, and I have come to me in the clinic. We test them. They're adrenally wiped out. They're hormonally messed up. Their digestion is all over the place. But guess what? They get up and keep going. And they have this level that they have to be fit and have to be strong and have to be ripped to be in their job. But they're burning themselves out and they're aging themselves early. So it's vitally important that we take into consideration these 3 ideal weeks. So build the best week for your staff, for your clients, and for yourself. And we do that by listening. We need to build up our communication skills so we can listen to our clientele, so we can maintain our business into moving forward. Next tip is select the players, pick the team, and play the game. And what do I mean by that is we need to know that certain people in your job have certain roles. And my question is, does everybody on your team, in your business, in your organization know what their roles are? Now, the second thing is a lot of people don't understand the certain aspects of their job description or their roles. They're not meeting them. So the question is, you as a manager, as a business owner, have these people been trained correctly and have the correct competencies in that area? Now, I'm going to digress here a little bit. Back when I was in college, way long ago, I worked at McDonald's for my sins. And in McDonald's, you had this badge. And the badge had 5 stars on it. And what the stars represented is you could work in the kitchen, you could work on the burger station, you could work in the chicken station, you could work on the till and so on. It means that you had certain competencies. So when staff came in, and as I was one of the managers, we had 110 staff at one point, really busy restaurant on Grafton Street. And when the staff came in as a manager, you could allocate certain people and certain jobs based off their competencies. So they knew and when they went to that station, it was a clear and defined role that each person had at that station. I'm not saying you should run your business like McDonald's. I'm not. But what I'm saying is now that we have the ability to reflect and look back on our business model, is there people in your facility, in your job that don't know their roles? And if they don't know their roles, well, that's down to you. That's down to you as a manager and as an owner to identify the roles that are required in their job description. Then, do they have the correct competencies to be able to do those roles? Now, some people are in jobs that they just don't like. And the areas that they're incompetent in, I don't mean like they're not skilled in that area, they don't like that area, or it takes them a lot longer to do it. Well, maybe we take that job off them and maybe we delegate it to somebody else. Maybe we split the job descriptions, and they don't necessarily need to do that. If you've got a staff member who is terrible on certain administration and you're spending most of your time drilling this client or drilling the staff member on administration and they're not doing up, well, then maybe we say to them, okay, well, let's take 2 hours of your shift off so you can go away from training and get that done. And then you maybe modified your job description or you allocate it to somebody else, but support them. But identifying an area that needs to be addressed. If your staff don't know their roles or they're incompetent in certain areas, you try to build up the competencies or modify the roles to suit their competencies. There's a great assessment of staff called the DISC, where we identify different roles people have. Some people are workhorses. Some people are very creative and they move forward. So it's very important that you make sure the staff that you have, like a football team, that's what I mean. We select the players, we pick the team, we play the game. We all need to know what game we're playing. Is it rugby, is it soccer, is it basketball? We need to know whether a goalkeeper, we're back, we're midfield, we're forward. And each person on that team knows what their contribution needs to be to play the sport. Now, if somebody is constantly, like a defender, isn't tracking back, isn't getting back into position, that's going to leave the team wide open to put more pressure on the goalkeeper. Now, again, I'm not a huge sports nut, but the fact is, in our business, if everyone knows what they need to do, the accountability, the responsibility, and their performance can be assessed. But if you don't know your role, you don't know your competencies, and it's a bit of a blurred line, but then the outcome of the team, as in a whole mix of players, no matter how well individual players play, the team won't get the success. So identifying the players, making sure they know they're in the position they should be in, they know what they need to do, and they're competent in those particular sports, in that particular position. But then we can ascertain a performance whether we weren't performing well, we weren't communicating well, and we didn't get the desired outcome. But a lot of times people just all jump in. I'm a trainer, I'm a nutritionist, I'm going to do this, I'm going to push this person, and there's a dilution of services. One coach is super efficient with emails and booking people in, and other trainers won't even accommodate their clientele. And if a trainer is out there that won't train a client at a different hour, or won't accommodate training on a different weekend, or whatever it may be, that's when I would sit down with the staff member and say, are you flexible enough to be a personal trainer? To be a personal trainer, to be an instructor, to be a coach, the client comes first to a certain degree, and we need that level of flexibility. Maybe it's a situation where you say to your client, well, I'm not available on Sunday mornings or Saturday mornings. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to link up with Robbie or Adam or one of the other staff members, and we'll make sure we facilitate your schedule with training with me or with somebody else. But there's always an answer to a challenge. But you don't know what these challenges are unless you listen to your clients. And you won't come up with a solution unless you sit down and come together to collaborate to make sure you get your client the results they're looking for. And the last thing there is performance. So we know our roles, we know our competencies, and then we can assess performance. And a lot of times I ask coaches and gym owners, well, what's the performance for you? How many sessions a week is that? Is that 100 sessions a week? Is that 1,000 sessions a month? How many sessions a month, or how many memberships do you need to have coming in? I managed one gym for a long time, and it was a very frustrating part of my career, but I got a lot of experience from it. And what they wanted to do was they wanted to join as many people as they could every month, because we're losing so many. And for me, that's a negative mindset. That's a fixed mindset, where boy, we could have listened to the clientele and the members we had to keep them happy, to make them stay longer, and then gradually build our membership up. But that was not the business model. The business model was not to listen to the complaints and try to get more people in the door. And unfortunately now, with a competitive market the way things are, that's not gonna last the test of time. Okay, so just for the guys online watching the webinar, I do have a modified strongman training course. And one of the reasons I do this is I go through different competencies, whether you can train group people, individual people. You can look after people with injuries that are not necessarily so fit and that are super fit. And having that chameleon, having that adaptive coaching approach allows you to get the best service possible. So you guys out there looking to upskill yourself, make sure you learn not only just do one method of coaching, that you can assess people on multiple different angles. And I feel modified strongman training, with its way you can train outside, with listen to clientele, with the modification, and I have to change exercise, make it progressive, make it harder, regress and making it easier, is fundamental in this industry. We need to make sure that we're looking after our clients, we're listening to them. It's fun, it's engaging, it's the effective training, but it's safe. It's most important now. A lot of people out there, I was speaking to a guy online, and he texted me and DM'd me and asked me what gym I'd recommend he goes and does some work experience. He just got qualified as a trainer, but there's only 2 days of practical experience. 2 days of practical experience is not enough. When you get qualified in this industry, it is a license to begin to look after people, to coach people. So one suite doesn't give you a cavity. So one bad boot camp, one bad training session is not going to necessarily injure somebody. It can, for sure it can, but it's poor training, poor programming. It's not attention to detail. It's not looking at the cues. It's not looking at the instructional points. So learning stuff that I have in this Modified Strongman course will definitely help you out. Next thing is we're going to talk about design your business program. So your business program should have what we call standard operational procedures. When a client comes into your gym, whether it be for nutrition, training, a boot camp, a semi-private training, there should be tick A, B, C, D. Whether that be sanitize your hands, maybe that be do your warm-up, maybe that goes to the warm-up area, you do your foam rolling, you do your traction drills, but there needs to be a system. And that system will standardize the care that you offer to your clients. And if you don't have those standard operating procedures in place, now is the time to do it. You want to standardize your system of care, not only from a safety point of view, but also from a continuity of service point of view, that your clientele are getting the best service possible, and then it's reproducible. So whether I take a training session or Robbie or Adam or someone else takes it, that we're looking after the attention to detail, we're listening to our clients, we're using this warm-up as an area to find out how well our clients are moving, any aches and pains, to communicate with them, to begin to open up the rapport, and to make it a patient or a client-centered approach to training. That it's not all about the coach. When they come in, they do the warm-up, they do the mobility, we prepare them for exercise. And particularly as clients get older, it's been shown categorically that the longer you give your body to warm up, the more growth hormone, the reduction in injury, and the more preparation the body gets to exercise correctly. Just getting someone to the gym and smashing them straight away is easy to do, but over time that's going to wear on the body. That's not going to make the training session as enjoyable and less gradual. So we need to warm our clients up correctly, and every session, whether it be confirmation of the training session, whether it be confirmation of the appointment, that the operation procedures are standard across the board. The next thing we're looking for is the brand voice, making sure that when you come into any facility, whether it be the ISI, whether it be any gym out there, that there's a standard level of professionalism, of excellence. So when you come into one of your facilities and train with one of your coaches, no matter what coach that is, there has to be a quality of care, that you're listening to your clients, you're engaging your clients. Like this morning, I came into the gym, all the staff were here, well, all with clients, and it was great to see the gym busy again. It warmed my heart to see that, and I love the atmosphere in there, but everybody engages with everybody. All our staff will engage with every single client in the gym, because we want that rapport. We want that comfort level that if someone needed to swap a client or need to get on a machine or whatever it may be, is that there's attention to detail and the communication lines are open. But all our staff in our facilities understand what we're trying to do. Well, not necessarily what we're trying to do for individual clients, but our attention to detail, that it's the patient and client-centered approach. So one client could be doing rehab on the ankle. The other client could be getting ready for an MMA fight. The next client could be here for digestive problems or gut problems. They're going to be over in the clinic doing that. But we need to all know what our message, our mission statement, our brand statement is from the company. And then that's the last point there. What is the mission statement of your gym? Is your gym, your training facility, your business practice just to make people sweaty and kick them out the door? Is it to burn 500 calories, take their money and send them off on their way? Realize that as a professional in this industry, what you do in the 1 hour you have your client can be undone by the 23 hours that client leaves the door. So you have an opportunity, and you are very lucky to have this hour with your client that you can instill with them nutritional recommendations, life recommendations. You can lend an ear to listen to them, but it's not about you talking, it's about you listening. You're facilitating, you're letting that person vent. A few things that we used to always stop talking: religion and politics. We don't like talking about it in the gym because people get too pissed off. I think I'm going to add a third thing to that. That's going to be COVID for sure. So when someone comes into the gym, it's their moment. And a lot of research done on mindfulness. And people say yoga, Tai Chi, meditation. 100% agree with that, and strongly recommend people embrace that as part of their wellness programs. However, being in the moment, being in the present, lifting weights, boxing, doing jiu-jitsu, whatever it may be, that's mindful, because you're in the moment. And anything to get your brain away from what you've been stressing with over the last year and a half or 2 years. You're in the gym for you. This is your time to focus on lifting and training and sweating and doing whatever you want to do. Let's not bring in the negative. Let's not bring in the stress aspect of things, and focus on looking after yourself. And clients and staff members should reflect that. It's not a situation where clients come into this facility and then we start bombarding them with all the stuff that's on our plate. No. This is their hour, their time. As friendly as we are with our clients, and I like to think we are very friendly with our clients, and some of them are very close friends of mine. They're not paying us to be friends. They're paying us for service. They're paying us to deliver results in a safe and effective manner, sometimes in a fun manner, in certain cases. But professionality is so important, and listening to our clients and making sure that we're not putting stress on top of them or unloading onto them is vitally important. I have one client and she goes for a massage off this lady every now and again. But when she goes to see this lady, the lady bombards all the stress and drama that's going on in her life. And then it's very hard for someone to get a therapeutic treatment when somebody's unloading a lot of stress on top of them. It's not conducive to a therapeutic relaxation period. Okay. Next point here is upskilling. So a lot of times during this lockdown, I tend to be quite focused when it comes to study, but I spent a lot of time upskilling in very different areas. So not that I stepped away from nutrition or training or rehab, but I sort of opened my eyes to more education from a business point of view, from a financial point of view, from a customer service, from a graphic design, from a computer, from a technology point of view. And one of the things that I think a lot of coaches could definitely work on, and I include myself in this, is communication. Communication, whether it be verbal, physical, a lot of body language involved in it, eye contact, hand movement, foot movement, stance, and so on. But when you walk into a gym, you can tell the atmosphere from the gym. So as a coach and as a trainer, as a gym owner, it's important that we communicate with both our staff and our clients for a brand voice and a mission statement that we want our clients to understand this is a happy, healthy, focused environment, that it's safe for people. Also, the collaboration, not only from the owners to the staff, but we're all on the one team. So think of it as that soccer team I talked about. We need to communicate. We need to understand and collaborate together. So it's the situations of areas of the business that your staff feel that we could refine or we can modify or change the standard operating procedures. We most certainly can address that. But if we don't communicate, we don't collaborate, and we don't have standard operating procedures, well, then how can you modify them? How can you change something that's not even there? It's a lot easier to modify something that's already established than to build something from nothing into place. So listen to your clients, listen to your staff members, communicating and collaborating, realizing you don't want to always be the most cleverest person in the room. You don't want to be the smartest person in the room. You want to surround yourself with like-minded people that understand the brand voice and understand the mission and statement. And when you have that, you can be very effective. And the last thing there is clarity of commitment. We want to commit ourselves to the focus of the business. Now, some people, they're not that driven. And that's just the way it is. Sometimes in their role, they don't feel like they're driving the business forward. But if you're dealing with clients, you're dealing with athletes, you're dealing with the public, your interaction, your voice, your communication, your dress sense, your hair, your shaving, with how you smell, all these small things. It might be something very small for some people, but it's the attention to detail and making sure that the experience. Then when someone comes into the gym, it might be the most fanciest gym in the world. It could be more rough and ready and sawdust on the floor, but it's the experience that the client has. And we listen to our client and understand that once we communicate, we collaborate, and we're committed to getting results with our clients. What I say to people is the extra mile is never busy. So going that bit further for a client, learning that they play golf or they play tennis or their kid is in a local school. We've often donated time and money to local schools to help out where our clients' kids go to school. There's always opportunities to refine things. So when you are doing your performance reviews with your staff and they're committed to the drive and the success of your business, and sometimes it's a situation where I know other people have given them shares in the business, that have a vested interest in the business, I think is nice, and sometimes you're more driven, but you want your staff to have the autonomy to make decisions on their own to a certain degree. There's a great quote, I think it was from the Ritz-Carlton, where they allowed their staff to make decisions up to about $250. So if a client was, guest was unhappy with a meal or a drink or a room, that all staff members had that ability to make the decision up to a certain level, because it's the attention to detail. Every time you walk through a Ritz-Carlton hotel, whether it be a cleaner or a concierge or a waiter, they will all make eye contact and welcome you to the hotel. So all this attention to detail, committed to the goal of the business and looking after our people, is fundamentally important. So what I'm going to do there is, I'm just on the 30-minute mark. So for the guys on Instagram, thank you so much for joining me. I'll put this on IG TV so you can watch this later on. If you are interested in getting a copy of this presentation, I'm going to finish another 30 minutes and it'll be on ownlacyeducation.com, and I may put it on YouTube later on down the line. So thank you so much for joining me. Enjoy the rest of your sunny Saturday weekend. Mhm. Okay, good. Let's keep going. So it's going to turn this Instagram off. Thanks for your patience and bearing with me. So one of the things I'm going to be doing later on this year is going to be a 2-day training camp where I'm going to take a group of business owners and guys that are interested in training and take them away to Portugal for a 6-day retreat. We're also going to do these 2-day retreats in Ireland where people come to this gym here in Malahide. We do 3 training sessions a day and we just talk. We go through nutrition, we go through some training, and we communicate together to how we can build our business moving forward. So sort of a 2-day networking weekend if you want. This is going to be a 6-day health retreat where we take people away. We train twice a day, breakfast and lunch is included, accommodation included in the Magnolia Hotel, which is just off from this facility, which is called the campus. So if you're a coach out there, you're looking for someone to just focus on nutrition and training for a week, please do log on to Own Lace Education, and there's more details there. But coaches out there that want to get away, they want to have a week away with some other coaches, talk about business, talk about what they've done, brainstorm, maybe connect, maybe align your business together in some capacity from an online point of view. But we've done this before for many years with great success. Now we're blessed to have this new campus location and the Magnolia Hotel, which will just take what we classified as a high level retreat to the next level or elite or platinum status. So if you're interested in that, please do let me know. And I'm going to be running it hopefully based off of travel restrictions in October. So this next thing here is what I call the return of investment. Return of investment has been around in the business world for a very long time. But when I talk about the return of investment, the most valuable thing that we have in our life is time. So we invest our time. A lot of times we focus on work, and work is our 8 hours a day. Then you have you for 8 hours a day. Then we have sleep for 8 hours a day. And unfortunately, a lot of people blend the whole wheel together. So when you're taking meetings or you're training clients or you're doing admin, think about this as an investment in your time, not necessarily money. So the most important thing that we're trying to do is allocate the right amount of time into aspect of our business that is going to have a return on it. So whether that be changing your business model to make sure that you're getting more money per hour of the clientele you're dealing, or maybe it's getting away from having 20 people in a class and only having 10 or 5 people in a class, and we can make revenue from that, but understanding that we only have X amount of hours of the day, and the allocation and the scheduling of the ideal week for your staff, for your clients, and for yourself is paramount. So that's the most important thing I would say throughout the whole of the lockdown. That I said to people, think about, well, should I say yes to this decision or no to this decision? Should I take this client on or not take this client on? Should I add this business avenue into my current business, or should I modify my business based on the return of investment of my time? Not necessarily of my money, which has to take into consideration, but of my time. What we normally focus on, I've talked a lot about this, so I'm not going to spend too long on it, but have a little look on my previous video on the top 7 tips to make your business more resilient. Here we have exercise order, sets, reps, tempo. That's what we all talk about. But from a business point of view, there's so many other aspects that we need to focus on. One, we need to focus on team building. As I said, focus on our staff. Next, we look at marketing. A lot of people out there that can really help you. Looking at leadership and management of your staff, of your facility, strategic planning. So for example, in Ireland, we had our easing of our lockdown restrictions on a bank holiday weekend. And it was the thought process behind the whole system was absolutely mind-blowingly undervalued and wasn't strategically planned in any way, shape, or form. And then performance reviews, looking at your staff, looking at your business, looking at yourself, looking at the investment of time that you're putting in and the return that you're getting from it. Are you doing everything you can do to grow your business? And to use the analogy we used earlier on with the soccer team, how well are you performing? What are your results? Sometimes you might do everything right, but not get the right results. And sometimes you might do a lot of things wrong and get great results. And that's one of the things I would hand on heart say was a big learning curve for me. When myself and John opened the Irish Strength Institute back in the day, we were successful, not straight off the bat, but relatively early. John was established from another gym. I had my own private gym. We came together. We were working with Charles Pollock at the time. So we were successful from pretty much the get-go. And sometimes that doesn't show you what you need to do to get successful. But when you can maintain a business and you can sustain a business since 2004 up till now, it shows you that you learn certain things along the way, sometimes super expensive lessons that I wish I didn't have to learn so expensively, but we've learned them nonetheless. That's why if we could go back back to a 20-year-old Eoin, I'd say very different things to him now than I because I've learned through experience. But listen to people and look at, there's much more than just the programming side of things to be successful in this business. So as we mentioned earlier on, this is in the 7 tips as well. So a lot of people have a one-to-one business model, which is mainly the Irish Strength Institute model. Then we have one-to-one or semi-private training, as people like to call it. Then we're looking for membership, where you have members in a gym, or again, monthly membership, people coming in for classes and so on. And the last one there is a lot of people do a lot of virtual or online coaching, which is fine, which is, again, it's not global. So you're all over the world. But is your investment in that time, and is it sustainable? What's sustainable now till the end of the year might radically change moving forward. If you're a class-based fitness industry or business, you may need to modify that to accommodate the requirements and the feedback from your clientele. Maybe you might want to be one-to-one training with some semi-private training. Maybe you rent your rooms out to some physios, or maybe you add a different component, let's say Reiki or whatever it may be to your business. Maybe add some saunas, maybe add some online coaching area. Maybe you transform one of your rooms into an audio room or a video room where you can do online coaching in that area, where the sound, where the visual is all to high spec. So the point being is, understand your business model and see if it's sustainable. Look at the leadership, look at the marketing and what other people are doing. Unfortunately, a lot of guys are out there online preaching, do this with your business. And they've never had a successful business, nor are they running a successful business at this moment of time. Learn from people that are not only in this industry doing this job. Not to say that you have to learn from a fitness or a nutrition or a gym-based business. Business and the management and the operations, you can learn from any business mentor. But realize that your location is very specific. So I have a lot of guys that are following business model from the States and from Australia, which may not necessarily cross over into Dublin or into Ireland or in the UK. So realize that you need to take in your demographic and your psychographic of your personas, of your avatars, of your potential clients, and list that with the business. Do your focus groups, get some feedback from the local people, get feedback from current clients, from old clients, from potential clients. And that way it will allow you to build and modify your current business model to sustain a profitable business moving forward strategically for the foreseeable future. Next we have here is Oliver Meal, was a strength coach that I did a lot of study with, and I interned with him, and actually I visited him when he was over here in Ireland a good number of years ago. And he said, "Oh, what's the difference between training a baseball player, American football player, and a basketball player?" And before I had a chance to answer, he says the uniform. So when you're training an athlete and you're training an executive, you're training a person. So make sure that your attention to detail, how you're looking after your client, how you're looking after your athlete, is client focused. It's not all the biomechanics, and you might know sprint mechanics and weightlifting mechanics and powerlifting. You might know all this information, but you don't force your programs on your client. You let your client express you their goal, and then you make a program to suit them. And once you keep your business patient and centric or focused, that's when you're going to have higher retention, higher referral, and a more sustained business model. People invest in people, not in places. So you could have the best equipment in the world in your gym, but people are coming to you for coaching, for a community, for attention to detail, for your expertise. And there's certain ways you can deliver that expertise. You can deliver that expertise in a dictatorial way. You can be, speak down to them. That won't work. In my opinion, strength coaches, not that strength coaches are bad in any way, shape or form, but strength coaches, when they come into the personal training world, they come at it from a different point of view. And when personal trainers try to get into the strength coaching world, it's a very different world. So you need to meet the clients where they're at, but listen to them. Remember that you're building a rapport with your client. You need to build up a communication. You collaborate with them, but people invest in people, not places. So no matter how busy your gym is or how much equipment you have, listen to your clients and make sure that you're listening to your clients to make them happy, so they're looking after the clientele that are coming in. Touch points. So touch points and feedback. So there's a certain level of touch points when your clients come to your gym, whether that be your email, whether that be the app that they use, maybe it's the car parking. One of the biggest complaints we had in a previous gym we used to manage was we did 2 car parks, car park 1 and car park 2. Car park 2 was maybe 150 meters down the road. It was on the other side of the train tracks. But the biggest complaint was I had to wait to get into car park 1. And I'm baffled that these people are coming to run on a treadmill and go nowhere, but they'll complain about having to walk 150 meters up the road to the gym because one car park was full and they're waiting for cars to come out. However, regardless of the fact that I didn't understand psychology behind the negative feedback, is that it was a touch point. So maybe if they had to put a screen up showing the numbers of car spaces that they had available and how long the wait would be, people wouldn't even wait. But people would wait and wait 10 to 15 minutes and be late for a spin class or late for a group training class because they were waiting to go into one car park and not go to the next one. Irrelevant, but this gym didn't listen to the clients, weren't interested in what their complaints were. They're trying to brush them off and get new people in. So if you assess your current business model on the touch points of the confirmation of the booking of the class, of the booking of the sessions, of the notification of the payment, how much the payment is, the ease of the payment, the location of the gym, the car parking, the showers, the changing rooms, the booking of the office, of the assessments, of the weighing, of the body fat measurements, or whatever it is, whatever touch point your clients have with your gym, is there a situation where you can make that seamless? Is it a situation where you can refine that and make it better? You want an ideal experience. And when you go to a restaurant or you go to a hotel, my wife's a big fan of going to hotels and just switching off and getting away, but bad service at the reception or bad service when we park the car or the lift's not working, something like that can not necessarily ruin a weekend breakaway. I'm not saying that, but it puts a bad taste in your mouth. And when clients are spending a lot of money coming to a trainer, coming to a nutritionist or being a member of a gym, they want excellent service. And again, clients are very forgiving and they'll put up with X amount, but if they keep getting the same bad service, keep getting the same draining. I was talking to Adam recently about somebody that applied for a job with us, and Adam sent out, okay, what I want you to do is go through procedure X and let me know what the feedback is. And this person kept coming back with multiple questions that they could have researched themselves. So by putting more work on somebody else, you're diluting the service. You're putting more effort onto these people. And if we put ourselves in our client's shoes, we want it to be seamless. We want it to be easy. That's why when you go onto Amazon, you get off Amazon, you think, Jenny, Mac, I just bought loads of stuff I didn't necessarily need because it was too easy. The call to action was there. It was super easy to buy. Or your Apple wallet where you buy something so simple, so easy. It's very easy to do. So identifying the touch points of every touch point that your clients have with your business and refining it, making it seamless, making it excellent, focusing on making it patient-centered and listening to the feedback. Don't have to wait to get feedback off somebody. Ask for it. Challenge them for it in some way, shape, or form. That may be from the owner. That may be from a manager. That may be from the staff member. That may be on a Survey Monkey. That may be in the app. Whatever way you want to do it, but get feedback because this will allow you to run your business in a more successful manner. This one was from the FedEx industry. So the FedEx, what they did was they had their business assessed and they had what's called the horror hierarchy. So what could go wrong? The worst things that could go wrong. A package could get lost, could get damaged. People might be overcharged, whatever it may be, all these multitude of things that can go wrong. So if you listed down all the top things that go wrong in your business, clients not turning up, not knowing a session was on, a trainer not turning up for a session, gym not being clean, double booking, double paying, overpaying, people not getting receipts, whatever it may be, is look at them and have in place an A, B, and C. So if something goes wrong, staff member doesn't turn up, what's plan B? Can somebody cover? Someone forgot about a session. Is there an automatic notification? Is it put into their diary? Is there an invite sent out? Is it through the app? Is it through email? Is it through text message? When someone pays for a session, maybe they get a notification that they're on the last one block of the session, or their monthly fee was rejected and you don't have that conversation with them. Whatever it may be, is list down all that's gone wrong in your business in the past and see, well, most certainly you can identify 2 or 3 things that you can do in that worst case scenario. And where do you put them? In the standard operating systems. So when your clients come in, if a trainer is in a situation where he doesn't know what to do, there's a roadmap, there's a manual, there's a plan B, plan C that they can follow. But by saying to yourself, that won't happen, that's naive, and that will happen. What can go wrong does go wrong in the worst possible time. I once did a presentation in Toronto, quite near the airport, with Dr. Eric Serrano. And I'm a big fan when it comes to slides, having less in the slides and more interacting with the people in the group, making sure we're delivering the content, the information in usable, applicable, and a student-focused experience. And the whole electricity and the greater Toronto area went off. And we're in this black room, no light whatsoever, in a hotel in a Hilton. But I still get the presentation. Why? I didn't rely on the slides. I didn't rely on what was on the screen. I knew, because I built those slides. I knew what was in the content. The same people in the room. I was there. Eric was there. The attendees were there. So the delivery was also was in a bit of a darker room, but the service, the goal was still delivered. So worst case scenario, identify what can go wrong, anticipate it, and build up procedures in place that you can come up with a plan afterwards. So what else? What else can you do? And the list is endless. And it's only when you go to another business, or you go and you get something and they go to attention to detail. Oh yeah, get contact lenses. Online all the time. Every 3 months, I get a new delivery of contact lenses. But what they do is they have it on a renewal contract. So every 2.5 months, I get this email, your subscription is up in 2 months. Just let us know if you want to continue your order. I click the button. They have my credit card in detail. I get them sent out to me. The contact lenses come out to me and there's always a little bag of Haribo jellies in them. Why on earth Haribo jellies are in contact lens cases, I do not know. But the fact is that's something different. And we see people online doing unboxing of toys. My daughter, she's a big fan of LOL dolls, and people on YouTube, and all their YouTube is people unwrapping dolls and unwrapping presents or unboxing, whatever they call it. So there's always attention to detail where you might make the box a bit nicer. You've all opened their new iPads or iPods, and the box and the experience is there. So when someone comes to your gym or your training facility, or you come to your online class or your Zoom session, what's going to be different? How are you going to engage them more? Is there going to be a feedback form afterwards? Is there going to be entered into a raffle? Is there going to be, some interaction with hands up, or, a bit of activity on the chat box or whatever it is? But there's always something more you can do. And as I said before, the extra mile is never busy. There's always something else you can do. But if you don't listen to your clients, you're not focused on looking after them and the staff, well, then you're not going to know what to do. But if you're listening to your staff, you're listening to your clients, you'll know what else you can do to bring things a little bit further. One of the things I wish I had done earlier on in my life is to get a mentor. I gravitated towards people and I learned a lot from them, but I didn't really contract in a mentor till later on in my business career. And that's from a business point of view, from a financial point of view, that's from a business growth point of view. I learned as I went. And not to say that it's a bad way. I think the world is much smaller now. And during lockdown, I went off, and LinkedIn Learning, I think, is a great resource tool. And I've really leaned on that over the last 2 years. I've done 110 courses on LinkedIn Learning. Not to say that the massive number of some of these courses are maybe 2 hours long, some are like 40 hours long, but you can learn anything now on the internet. You really can. You can upskill yourself in any area, but having someone to report to, having someone that you're accountable to, having someone you can bounce ideas off and trajectories and plans and avenues and business ventures, you need someone like that. And sometimes if it's somebody that's just your friend of yours, you may not like to lean on them or schedule your time. But if someone that you schedule in once a week, once every second week, once every month that you can lean on. I was just chatting to Seamus Fox, who does a lot of that now in his Mindset Junkie. There's a lot of people out there that are very skilled in this field. And sometimes it's not necessarily what they know. They're just facilitating you. They're allowing you the thought process. Like when you go to one of those, you see those videos where people sit down in counselors or movies and the person says, oh, I have problems with my dad. How does that make you feel? And you're answering the problems yourself. Myself and John got a business mentor in a number of years ago, and all she did was ask us questions and challenged us to answer them. But we were never asked those questions before. Well, what's your targets? What's your retention numbers? What's your attrition? And all these things are like, Jesus, we didn't focus too much on those. But you can only manage what you measure. So if you're not measuring these things, you don't have any targets. You've no standard operating procedures. You're not doing your staff appraisals. You're not doing your feedback. You're not communicating with your staff. You're not collaborating with them. You're not assessing the business from a strategic marketing and leadership and management point of view. Well, then you can't know where you need to fill the gaps. By getting a mentor that has a business, and I had one guy, I don't see him that often anymore, but I had one guy and he says, oh, we're the same. I just run thousands of businesses, you run a couple of businesses. So it's not that it's a huge difference, but listen to these people, listen to these experts in the field that have made millions of mistakes. You can learn, you can stand on the shoulders of giants, but you have to listen. Close your mouth, reach out to these people, and people that are out there that have done well in their business or even not done well in their business, you can all learn from them. I've learned a lot of things from people in my industry of what not to do, of also what to do. So again, even learning what not to do can be just as valuable as learning what not to do. So just to reiterate there, towards the end of the year, I will be doing some 2-day camps. There will be training camps. We're going to train 3 times a day, whether it be hypertrophy or fat loss and nutrition. We're going to have a periodization of programs. So when you leave after the 2-day training camp, you're going to have loads of new training tools, loads of new exercise tools. And again, we get together a lot of people. We're going to have some drinks up in Malahide and just have a bit of downtime after the stressful time that we've had. But it's the coming together of people that are like-minded to train hard, to learn different exercise programs, different exercise techniques, and in a collaborative community point of view. So again, that's going to be towards the end of the year. And again, what I'm going to do is in a new location in Quinta del Lago, we're going to use the campus gym and the Magnolia Hotel. And that will be a 6-day retreat where people get away in the sun, train, eat, switch off, recharge their batteries, but also to network with the other people on the course itself. So I'm really looking forward to that later on the year for a 2-day camps in Ireland and a 6-day retreat in Portugal, in the Algarve. So for all those guys that join me on live on Instagram, thank you so much. For all the people that join me live, I really appreciate you taking the time out of your busy weekend to listen to this content. What I will do is I'm going to put this on Own Lacy Education so you can check it out there afterwards. But other than that, guys, thank you so much for your time and enjoy the rest of your weekend.